Hey everyone, Ronan here, and welcome back to the channel. We got a lot to cover in today's second part of this season, but before we get into that, Devin Dixon, thank you very much for the support. And as always, analytics are very important, so please don't forget to drop a like and a comment to help fuel the algorithm so that way we can get to a larger audience. And if this is your first time here, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that way you'll never miss another upload from the channel. And if you want to support us even further, please consider becoming a YouTube channel member or a patron. You'll get exclusive access to things that I don't post on the channel and early access to everything that I do. But with all that being said, let's get into what if Ash won the Pokemon World Championship Season 5, the Sun and Moon Ultra Journeys. I hope you enjoy. We begin today's part with none other than our favorite terrible trio. Jessie, James, and Meowth have found themselves without a thing in the world. Team Rocket has fallen. Their business that they built in Johto was a sham just to fund the last-ditch efforts of Giovanni, so that folded. All of the contracts that they had signed and trademarks they had filed were all owned by Team Rocket. In the end, after helping bring down the boss, they were left with nothing but the Pokemon that Claire had given them back. It's here that we catch up with them, as they are walking through a very familiar forest. Talking about the conversation that they had with the Dragon Master, Claire grilled them for what seemed like days. She wouldn't let them leave unless they let her know some sort of information. Luckily, Meowth was there to save their skin, as it had just enough on the inner workings to let them off the hook, basically stating that there was some sort of massive external download of the rocket systems at the Lake of Rage to an outside server. Meowth didn't know what it was or who had done it, but the Scratch Cat knew that it was being sent to the Kalos region. After hearing this, Claire relayed it to Lance and told the trio that they were free to go. However, they were to return to their shop in Goldenrod and await to be contacted. They were not permitted to leave the region until things with Giovanni had been wrapped up. Originally, the trio was going to comply with this order, but when they had learned that their business had crumbled, they decided that they needed to get as far away from Kanto and Johto as possible. They needed a place where Team Rocket didn't have any influence. James had suggested that they return to Sinnoh, as his family's property was vacant most of the year and it would buy them some time until they could figure out their next move. But this just caused Jessie to give the purple-haired man an earful, reminding him that the last time they did that, his butler let his parents know that they were there, so they had to leave in a hurry. This causes the group to get a little bit depressed. Every time they try to get anywhere in this cockamamie world, everything just is pulled out from underneath their feet. However, Meowth reminded them that there is one place that Team Rocket has no influence, a place where they have a home, where they can have all the food that they want, to have a chance to rest and regroup. Both curious about this wondrous place, Jessie and James question Meowth on it, only for the cat to point to a map on the wall of the Pokemon Center that they are in. This is where we find them in the modern day, as the trio is currently walking through the forest of Mele Island. They have been traveling for what seems like an eternity. With no money or resources from Team Rocket, they basically had to stow away on boats and planes until they are able to get back to the Alola region. But now they are running on E and are crawling their way to the Cave of Beware, hoping that the affectionate fighting type will have a meal ready for them. However, Jessie and James have reached their breaking point, as they can no longer carry themselves. Meowth tries to encourage them that it's only another mile or so and then they will be there, but the two can't go on. It's been nearly a week since their last meal and they have no strength to move. Meowth plops down right next to them, as the Scratch Cat is in the same boat. Man, I wish I could taste some of those delectable treats Beware always gathered for us. This causes the mouths of both Jessie and James to water, only for them to yell at Meowth to stop. They can't take this torture. The Scratch Cat tries to say something, but is stopped when an eerie feeling causes it to shiver before a sound is heard behind it. Slowly turning its head, Meowth is met with what it was afraid that feeling was, as Mimikyu glares into its eyes. This causes the Scratch Cat to faint into a world of bright lights. All the while, an ominous shadow stands above the trio. Before Jessie and James can process what's happening, the shadow gathers them up and sprints off into the brush with nothing but the cries of the two echoing in the distance. It doesn't take long before all of their hopes and dreams come true, as they immediately smell the aroma of the fruit that Beware hoards in its cave. The duo suddenly bursts with energy as they jump into the pile and scarf down what they could, completely ignoring all of their Pokemon in the process. However, it isn't long before they both begin to choke from eating too fast and are forced to stop for a brief moment. This is where James realizes that Meowth is currently trying to leave this plane of existence and grabs the Scratch Cat, giving it a couple of whacks across the face to bring him back. However, as the feline comes to and pitches a fit about being disrespected, James drops the cat to ask Marini what that box is in the corner of the cave. This gets the poison type excited as it latches on James's head, causing the man to panic, as it has been a while since he has experienced this. Standing up, James tries to free himself from the clutches of his stalker, only to stumble in the process. Falling flat on his chin, James lands next to the box as Marini breaks its hold. Now that it can see, James notices that Marini seems to have claimed the box of its own. The poison type even goes as far to show its trainer the box. Looking it over, James can see that this thing is old and spent some time in the water, as it has some coral growing off the side. However, something else seems to be bothering the purple-haired man. For some reason, it feels like he has seen this thing before, but James isn't sure where, though he won't get the chance to think about it for too long, as Beware grabs him and stuffs James' mouth full of fruit. As the man squirms in panic, we see Marini happy and caressing the box before jumping in to dine on the food with its trainer. While it seems the trio have finally found a place to rest, this is merely an illusion, as this happy reunion is going to be interrupted by a voice that echoes from the mouth of the cave. I've been wondering when you three would show up. Turning, Jesse and James and Meowth are not happy with the person that is standing at their door. Pierce, the redhead yells, "You have no business being here. We left Team Rocket, so you need to leave. Whatever bogus mission, whether it be from that pompous Matori or Giovanni himself, we don't care. We want nothing to do with Team Rocket ever again." However, Pierce simply smiles. "You misunderstand me. I am no longer employed by Team Rocket, but my current employer has a great interest in the Alola region, or at least what's beyond it." The three gulp, as they don't like the tone of this one bit. As they try to figure a way out of this mess that is coming their way, we move half a world away as we find Ash, Go, and Chloe in the port city of Vermilion. Both Ash and Go are saying goodbye to their friend as she heads into school. Turning to Ash, Go asks what they're going to do for the next few hours. The boat isn't ready and they can't board just yet. Looking at Pikachu, Ash thinks about this. There are a lot of things to do in Vermilion, but there's one thing that the boy has wanted to do for a while, but he hasn't had the chance to do. With a smile cracking across his face, Ash takes off down the road, telling Go to follow him. He has the perfect idea to kill some time. "Hey, wait," the boy replies, trying to catch up to Ash before he loses sight of him. About 30 minutes later, with Go struggling to breathe, Ash finally comes to a stop in front of a massive building. Looking up, Go asks what this place is. Ash says that is the site of the first real challenge he ever had as a trainer, the Vermilion Gym. The leader is Lieutenant Surge, and he is a powerful electric specialist, and was the first to truly push me and my limits as a trainer. So I figured a battle may be something that could kill time, since I haven't seen him since the days of the Indigo League. This revelation captures Go's interest as well. As long as he's known Ash, he's always been an incredible trainer, so to think that there's someone out there that could actually challenge him aside from the likes of Leon is something that sparks immense curiosity. With a smile, Ash takes off for the door of the gym, Go in tow telling him to slow down. He still hasn't caught his breath. Moments later, our heroes find themselves in the building with Ash looking around. "Man, this place sure has changed a lot since the last time we were here." "Yeah, it seems like they have had an extensive remodel," Go replies, "but it looks like there's no one here." Ash notices this as well and begins to call out, but is cut off just before a word comes out by a voice that they don't recognize. "We were forced to update things after you destroyed most of the gym in the battle with Surge." Emerging from the back of the gym is a person that Ash has never seen. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" the boy questions. "No, but I know all about you." Ash catch him of Pallet Town. This causes the boy to cock an eyebrow, as Go comments that it seems like Ash has a stalker. However, this person says it's nothing like that. Ash is just a legend in the Vermilion Gym. Anyone that has trained under Surge has to hear the story about the boy and his Pikachu that forced the Lightning Lieutenant to change his ways and how he looks at Pokemon and battles. "Well, I didn't think that I was that great of a trainer. I just battled him for a badge, nothing more." "Well, no matter your reason, you changed something in Surge that day." This is where Ash asks if Surge is here. He wanted to stop by for another battle. However, this is where he is told that Surge is actually not here, or even in the Kanto region. After he saw Ash win the championship in Alola, the lieutenant left to train. His words were, if the baby could win a championship, then he needed to get stronger. This causes Ash to hang his head. He was really looking forward to a rematch with him. "Well, thanks anyway," the boy says. "I guess we'll have to find something else to do until we leave town." Ash then turns to leave, telling the person thank you for their time. However, the boy is stopped when the person tells Ash that he is not leaving without a battle. Turning, Ash questions what this person means. I'm sorry, I never got your name." "It's Visquez, and I'm the person that Surge left in charge of the gym while he was away on his training mission." "So you're the gym leader?" Ash questions. "In a manner of speaking. I can have official battles, but there is something that I'm far more interested in." "What's that?" Ash questions. "Like I said, I'm only the temporary gym leader. I came to Vermilion to train under Surge because of our love for the electric type, but I want to travel the world and challenge the best trainers. However, it's kind of hard when I'm stuck in the Vermilion gym, so my only hope is for them to come to me." This is when a Rotom Ref hovers above the battlefield, and Ash's Rotom phone pings for a coordination battle. Ash then looks at Go and Pikachu. Surge says you're the best trainer that he ever battled, so there's no way I'm going to let you get away without us having one. "Well, it looks like you're going to get the battle you wanted," Go says. Smiling, Ash says that it'll be a good one too. Visquez is weighing 76, so they have to be a strong trainer. Turning, Ash clicks the phone, accepting the battle. "Well, then let's get started," Visquez says, as the Rotom Ref sets the rules for this 2-on-2 battle. Substitutions will be allowed. With the official start of the battle declared, Ash turns to Pikachu, telling the mouse that he's going to have it set this one out, as he wants to use their new friends in it. Pikachu has no problem with this, but Visquez seems a little bit upset, as they really wanted to challenge the Pokemon that beat Surge. However, Ash says that he has other Pokemon that will give them the challenge that they are looking for. Pulling a ball out, Visquez is the first to choose as a Raichu hits the field. Ash mentions that it looks powerful, to which the gym leader states that it was trained by Surge himself. "They learned everything that the lieutenant did after they lost to you, so you will have to be very creative in order to beat us." "That won't be a problem." "Ponytail, I choose you." The mayor pops from the ball with a neigh before turning to nuzzle Ash. The boy enjoys the affection from his newest capture, but tells it that they have a battle, so they can play after everything is over with. The psychic type gives Ash one more rub before returning to the field to stare down its opponent. While this is an unusual way to start a battle, it's not what Visquez had in mind, so they aim to get things started with a Thunderbolt to light things up. However, Ash isn't going to just sit back calling for a high horsepower. This creates a unique situation situation as Ponyta is able to outspeed the electric attack and throw its full weight into the electric rodent. However, Visquez is going to show just how Surge trained her Raichu as it uses a dig to dodge, forcing the Rainbow Mare to stop dead in its tracks. Ash tells Ponyta to be calm. Their chance will come. This gets a nay from the first stage, and just like Ash said, Raichu comes up, but it's not going to be as clean as Ash had thought, as the attack is a Volt Tackle that breaks through the ground, only to slam into the chest of Ponyta, sending the horse skybound. Raichu used such force in this that it is only inches from Ponyta as it goes up into the air. Seeing this as their chance, Ash tells the horse to use a stomp in midair. Doing so, it launches itself even farther into the air while Raichu is sent careening into the floor of the gym. But the electric mouse is resilient, using a dig to mitigate the damage it takes. The two are locked in a stalemate as both come to the surface, staring each other down. However, this is only a momentary thing as Raichu flinches a little bit. Visquez can see that it took more damage from that stomp than the mouse is letting on, plus the recoil damage from the Volt Tackle. Seeing that they need a little extra defense, the leader calls for a Reflect. As the energy barrier erects itself, Ash takes this moment to show that his Mon isn't a one-trick pony, calling for a Psy Beam that hits true for a decent amount of damage. You can have all the physical defense you want, but it won't make a difference when it comes to my Pokemon, Ash yells. However, Visquez knows that this is only a temporary setback, calling for another dig. Knowing this will make things harder for them, Ash tells Ponyta to use a Stomp on the field. This has an intended result, forcing Pikachu to surface earlier. As the ground begins to break, Ash orders another high horsepower in an attempt to take out the electric type. However, the command of a Volt Tackle is given as Ponyta finds itself on top once more, allowing a clean hit from Raichu. This unfortunately results in the horse taking more damage than it can handle, as it drops from the strain of the battle. Ash recalls his mom, thanking it for the effort that it put in. Visquez comments that Ponyta seems like it has a lot of raw power, but it doesn't know how to use it. Smiling, the boy says he knows. That was its first official battle, so he wanted to see how it would do. This kind of aggravates the temp leader as they accuse Ash of not taking their battle seriously. However, Ash smiles, telling that it's the exact opposite. He and his Pokemon only want to face strong opponents, so whether they're new or experienced, he treats them the same way. It was a lesson that Surge learned not to underestimate his opponents. Realizing that the boy is right, Visquez grits his teeth and tells Ash to send in his next choice. However, Ash was way ahead, throwing the ball while the leader was in mid-demand, declaring, "Lucario, I choose you." Popping from the ball, the fighting type looks around, not really understanding what is happening here. It then looks at Raichu, questioning why it was summoned to do this. There is no threat here. Due to the recent events and its evolution, Ash is a little bit more attuned to Lucario's feelings since it regained its memories at the tree. The boy can tell that Lucario is confused, so he explains that they are having a friendly Pokemon battle, something that it had always done many times prior to this point. However, from Lucario's point of view, this is a meaningless task. A battle that is not to defend one's home or loved ones is pointless. But Ash continues to explain that it's just supposed to be fun, not meant to be taken seriously. As the boy tries to explain this task to Lucario, the Rotom Ref tells Ash that he needs to continue the battle, or he will be disqualified. This causes the boy to panic, which Lucario notices. All the while, Visquez and Raichu are watching, completely baffled by the events that are transpiring. "Come on, Lucario, you need to battle. If I lose, then my ranking will drop and I won't get the chance to battle Leon." Seeing that this is a time-sensitive task, and Ash really wants to do what is being asked, the fighting type relents, taking a stance in front of Raichu almost as if to say that it is ready for battle. The mouse jumps back in, ready to finish what it had started, as now with a few minutes of rest since the last battle, it is feeling confident that Vasquez and it are more aligned than these two. All the while, Go is questioning what is going on with Lucario. It's acting very strange, but the boy barely has any time to complete this thought when the Rotom Ref gives the signal to start. But before any moves can be made, Lucario is on the attack, moving faster than anyone thought was possible. In a blur, the fighting type streaks across the battlefield, only to land a Force Palm into the gut of Raichu. This sends it into the wall with a thud that shakes the gym, leaving the electric rodent with spirals in its eyes before Visquez can even give a command. This leaves everyone in a moment of stunned silence. Realizing that something is off, Lucario turns back to Ash, forcing the boy to regain his composure. "Hey, you're not supposed to attack like that until I give a command," Ash says. This leaves the fighting type questioning this type of battle. Why would it not finish an opponent as fast as possible? However, there will be a little time to question this, as Visquez argues that Lucario moved before they were allowed to start. That was an illegal knockout. This causes Ash to panic, but the Rotom Ref rules in the boy's favor, as it was able to record everything in the battle. Rotom states that Lucario moved a microsecond after the command was given. It was within the start time, so it was a legal move. The battle will continue. Wiping the panic from his brow, Ash yells that Lucario needs to hold back. It could have cost them the battle, yet another concept that is foreign to it. While Ash tries to explain the way Pokemon battles work to the seemingly new Pokemon, Visquez is on the other side of the gym, contemplating his choices. Lucario is so fast, yet it doesn't even understand the basics of a Pokemon battle. That is my ticket to victory. I just need something that can compete with its speed. Luckily, I have just the thing. Pulling a ball from his belt, Visquez tells Ash that they are ready to finish this, so he should tell Lucario to focus, because their next opponent won't go down so easily. Realizing that they are out of time, our hero tells Lucario to be patient. They will need to work as a team if they hope to win this. Reluctantly, the fighting type decides that it will follow Ash's lead, so it turns to face this new threat, which pops from the ball in the form of an Electrode. At the start of the battle, Visquez calls for a move that Ash has never seen before, in a Magnet Rise. However, the Electrode only glows in a brief hue before fading. Not sure of what this is going on, Ash calls for another Force Palm, thinking that Lucario may be able to finish this battle just like the last one. Lucario can feel that something is off, but it decides to follow Ash's order and use the powerful speed speed to close the gap and strike the ball of electricity. However, just as it connects, the leader smiles as Electrode becomes excited. Suddenly, it seems to be sent back with greater force than Raichu had before it. Ash thinks this is a sure win, but is going to be met with the exact opposite when Electrode just bounces off the wall like nothing and aims its body right in the direction of Lucario, striking it before the fighting type can even focus on its presence. However, this isn't the one-time thing, as Electrode is back on the attack again before Lucario could recover, striking even harder than before. Wait, how could that be, Ash questions? How is it able to just bounce off the wall like that? Seeing that he is a little lost, Visquez decides to throw Ash a bone, explaining that Electrode and his perfectly smooth and round body are the reason for this. Well, that and Magnet Rise, as he looks on, only to finally see what the leader means. Yep, Magnet Rise makes it so Electrode levitates. So when Lucario hit it, you sealed your own fate. With each slam into the wall, Electrode will only pick up speed, increasing the power of its attack, which Ash has come to see as the all-powerful rollout. The boy is unsure on how to deal with this, as Lucario is continuously pelted by attacks that are gaining momentum with each pass. However, Lucario isn't as lost as its trainer, as the fighting type has the ability to deal with such a threat. It's here, in this moment, that both Ash and Visquez get a first-hand look at what Lucario is capable of as it surges with aura and its eyes begin to glow with the blue energy. Then, it sidesteps Electrode, throwing off its trajectory, before speeding back into its path and charging 2 aura spheres that Lucario uses as a cushion for the oncoming charge that brings Electrode to a complete stop, before letting out its own counter in the form of a reversal that drives the Electrotype into the ground with enough force that it buckles the floor with one of the tunnels that Raichu had dug and shakes the gym. This leaves the Pokeball Mon with spirals in its eyes as Lucario and Ash are declared the winner. However, the fighting type seems a little frustrated being forced to follow through with such a meaningless task. So just before Visquez can recall the Electrode, Lucario appears next to Ash, only to tap its ball and vanish inside, leaving everyone a little bit confused about the entire situation. However, the silence is quickly broken when the updates are sent through. Ash has moved up in rank to 81, while Visquez has fallen to 93. The leader joins Ash to thank him for the battle, but the truth be told, they are a little disappointed on how it unfolded. It didn't seem like Ash had any coordination with the 2 Pokemon that he had used. The leader tells Ash that if he hopes to have any chance at battling Leon, then he had better get a better control before the Masters tournament starts, or he will be knocked out in the first round. Yeah, I know, Ash says under his breath, looking at Lucario's ball, while in the stands, Go looks on, knowing full well that something isn't right. With the battle at the gym now out of the way, Ash and Go hurry off, waving to Visquez, as they head off for the SS Aqua that is bound for the Alola region. However, Ash's stop at the Vermilion gym ran longer than we thought, as we found both him and Go running as fast as they can to catch the boat. The 2 boys make it all the way to the dock just as they're beginning to pull up anchor and set sail. This causes both of them to panic as they rush with everything they have. Ash tells Go that they have to stop. There's no way that they're going to make it, as the ship has already started to set sail. However, Go has been waiting all day for this and doesn't want to spend another day waiting, so he calls upon Dragonites, telling Ash to climb on. They're getting on that boat. Knowing that they have no other option, Ash does as he is told, as Go tells Dragonite to catch up to the boat as fast as possible. The dragon focuses and takes off with a crack that breaks the sound barrier, causing the other people on the dock to lose their footing with the boom, as they all complain about the duo and Go yelling sorry as they vanish off in the distance. Only seconds later, they land on the deck of the boat, only to be swarmed by the security of the vessel, causing the 2 to clench up. However, the issue is quickly resolved when they both produce their boarding passes and explain that they were running late. The officer Jenny in charge of the boat scolds the 2 boys for missing the boarding and not announcing their intentions to come aboard. She then lets them off with a warning, telling them that she will be watching them very closely, so she had better not have any more issues with the 2 of them over the next 7-day boat ride. Sheepishly, they both say that they understand before wilting under the glare of the very irritated Jenny, and they both shuffle off when the officer is called to an issue that needs her immediate attention. Once they have a moment to breathe, Ash tells Go that it may not have been the best idea to catch this boat. Now the ride won't be as fun, with them being watched at every chance that Officer Jenny has. Go says he understands, but they've had so many detours since they left Galar that the boy just wants to get to Alola already. Besides, there are things that they need to address, and waiting in Vermilion won't help in passing the time and getting those things done. Wondering what the boy is talking about, Ash asks Go for some clarification of the statement. Well, there's the notes that Tracy gave me on Trizile. They need time to go over it. Then there's what is going on with Lucario and the Tree of Beginning. I think that we should address that as well. However, Ash cuts the boy off, stating that's not really what Go wants to talk about. The boy looks down at the floor as thoughts begin to flood his mind, but Ash breaks this, stating that he had heard it too. Go's eyes light up. I wanted to say something, but when you didn't say anything, I thought that I may have been hearing things. After everyone teased me when I was younger, I've been hesitant to talk about Mew whenever it feels like that I may have come close to coming across it. However, Ash states that he believes Go did see it. The tree is Mew's home. Don't you remember what Mewtwo said when we battled at Giovanni? Mew hadn't been there in a really long time, so there must have been a reason that it had come back. Looking at the ball of Lucario, Ash says that he thinks that Lucario was that reason. After what they went through the first time, and Ash being there, and Lucario being called back to the tree, Mew must have felt it as well and returned to see what was going on. Go states that that thought had crossed his mind, but he's not too well versed in the workings of the tree and what they had dealt with there. Ash states that Lucario is the Aura Pokemon. It has a special connection to the world and the life force within it. I watched it firsthand when Lucario used its aura to save the tree. Well, at least I know I'm not crazy this time. Smiling, Ash says nope, there's no way that didn't happen. I saw what you saw. With a sigh of relief, Ghost states that they have a long trip, so they should get settled in and get a feel for the ship. This immediately gets Ash's attention as he wants to hit the galley. There's food. Both Pikachu and I can smell it, the boy yells. With a brief chuckle, Go says that it's fine. It's pretty late and they should go eat. They can start on what they have to work on in the morning. As the two load up their bellies with all the food that they can eat, we move over to a region that we haven't heard much from as of late. Not since Giovanni failed in his plans to erase all of reality. However, it's not Ecruteak City that we find ourselves in, but the island of Altamare. It's here we catch up with Latios and Latias. The two have been on the island since they helped Ash a few months back. However, there seems to be some tension between the two, as it appears that they are in some sort of disagreement. You see, since they returned to the island, Latios has been on some sort of lockdown. Latios is the leader of their small group of their kind that inhabits the island, and as their leader, she didn't take too kindly to Latios just taking off like that, and since they returned, the Blue Jet has been on lockdown, forbidden to travel outside of their inner sanctum of the island. It's in this moment that we see an argument between the two, with the others watching, not happy with the tension that is building. The basics of the argument is that Latios isn't happy with Latios effectively grounding him, but Latios remains firm in its decision, stating that by leaving the young one had put them all in danger. If the world learns that they live here, then they and the island could become a hotbed of people that aim to use them and their powers to cause harm. But Latios doesn't see this, stating that it can't be confined here. It will break through the barriers that Latios has erected around the island to keep it here. The blue Eon Pokemon then storms off in a fit of rage. This is where our old friend Bianca walks in, though she isn't surprised about what she sees. This has become a regular occurrence over the last couple of weeks, and each day things get more intense. Looking at Latios, Bianca says that she knows that the Red Jet is worried, but she can't keep Latios here. It is the oldest of all the ones that came after her brother had died, and it wants to see the world. Latios sinks her head at this comment as she floats over the Soldew. I know you miss him, Bianca says, but you and I both know that you can only force it to stay here for so long. You are already tapping into the powers of the Soldew to increase your own to hold Latios back, but that won't last forever. Latios seemingly lets out a sigh, as if to say that Bianca is right, as she looks into the Soldew of her brother, wondering what it would do. As things simmer to a boiling point in Altamare, we move forward a couple of days in time, as the boat is now within a day or so from the region of Alola. During this time on the boat, Ash and Go have had a mixture of work and pleasure, as they await their arrival to the island chain, though still under the close, watchful eye of Officer Jenny. Though there hasn't really been much of anything for the blue-haired woman to get upset about. While these days seem to fly by as they get closer to Alola, a lot of progress has been made as Go combs over the notes that Tracy had given him. While Ash has had a few battles with some of the trainers that were on the boat, the boy has shown that he is a powerful trainer, and he has used all of the Pokemon that he has with them to battle every trainer on the boat, each of them earning a win, including Ponyta and the Metal Goliath Melmetal, though it was the last one that Ash had used and what signaled the pandemonium that comes next to set in. You see, though Ash has had many battles on the boat, only one of them had been a coordination battle, and it just so happened to be this one that he had used Melmetal and Ponyta in. While the mare is rare, it's not really anything to write home about, but the moment Ash said in Melmetal, that's when a crowd started to form. You see, they are nearing the region of Alola, the place with the newest Pokemon League in the world. The fact that it was won by a kid is something that is going to cause the word to get around, but even more than that, the champion of this new league had a pretty rare lineup of Pokemon, which is immediately noticed when Ash sends in Melmetal, as he's the only one in the world that is in possession of this type of Pokemon. So, just as the Steel type wraps up a win that bumps Ash to number 69 in the world coordination ranking, the boy is set upon by nearly every passenger on the boat as they seek taking pictures for their kids, autographs, and anything else a diehard fan would be looking to accomplish. However, Ash isn't the only one that gets caught up in this, as Go is right there with him, asking what Ash did to cause this flurry of people to form around him, but at the moment, he is oblivious. The boy just wants to get away from the crowd, but luckily, Officer Jenny was nearby and was able to break up the mob, so that the two boys could have some space. As the crowd disperses, Jenny comments that she thought Ash looked familiar, but she wasn't able to put her finger on it at first. Still unclear about what she means, asks Ash for clarification on this. Your Melmetal. Only one person has that in the entire world, the champion of the Alola region. Oh, right, Ash says. I guess that's true. Jenny states that she sees a lot of people heading to the region on these boat cruises. They all head there to see the champion, but most of them are disappointed when they return because the champion was nowhere to be found. So it's nice that Ash is finally taking a boat instead of a plane. This causes the boy to look a little puzzled as Jenny tells the two that they may want to keep a low profile. They will be in Alola tomorrow morning, as she may not be able to save them again. The officer then gets a call, pulling her away, leaving Ash with the same puzzled look. Curious, Go asks what the look is for. The boy states that he doesn't know what Jenny means. He's only ever flown to Alola once, and the last time he took a plane was when he left there. Wait, Ash, just how long has it been since you've been back? Go questions. The boy looks over the open ocean, thinking long and hard about this answer. I guess it's been almost a year, he says nonchalantly. Wait, a year ago? Yells. Yeah, why? Is that a problem? Ash asks. No, not really. I just thought as a regional champion that you would make a few trips back, because you are the champion and have responsibilities to the Alola region and the league that you are the strongest trainer of. Suddenly, realization sets in on the boy as his look changes from a casual one to one of panic. Wait, you're right. What have I missed? Ash yells. Did they have another league without me? Is there a new champion? But Kukui and Burnett would have told me if they were going to have another league. However, every time I've called, it seems like they're too busy to talk to me. Maybe they are spending time with the new champion. These are all the questions Ash repeats to himself as he paces in a circle while Go and Pikachu watch on, unsure on how to respond as the fear of him neglecting his role as champion slowly overtakes the boy. Beginning to regret ever bringing it up, Go tells Ash that it's not that serious. I'm sure there would have been some sort of communication if something had happened. However, Ash's mind is racing and he pulls out his Rotom phone to call Kukui and tell them that he is returning. But the line just rings before hanging up. Ash finds this strange as he knows that at least Rotom Dex would have been able to pick up the phone. The boy hangs his head in a deepening depression. Man, they really did replace me, Ash says. Go has no idea on how to console his friend. The only thing that he can think is the next 24 hours are going to be one of the longest this trip has had since the start of it, as the boat sails towards the sunset. As the night takes over the Alolan sky, we move back a week into the lab that is beneath the Rose Tower in the region of Galar. Here we find Pierce and Dr. Zager as they are discussing the next mission that has been assigned. The two are staring at a bunch of broken stones that are on a table in front of them. Zager comments that Giovanni never wanted to tell him what they were for. However, Pierce states that he has always believed that the Rocket Leader was beginning to lose his mind towards the end of his tenure with the team. All he could talk about was gateways to other worlds and how these crystals were the key. But I guess we're eating those words now, considering that he was right. Pierce sneers this remark. How was I supposed to know? They didn't even become active until after we had secured them. That burst of energy that we detected from Farina is what caused it, Dr. Zager states. Since then, I've only been able to get little blips of energy that make up the crystal. It appears all over the world, but it doesn't stay in the same place for very long. It's like it will use the energy that it has gathered to try and open a portal, but it fails every time. Well, I'm getting tired of chasing this thing down, so you had better find a way to track it. This is when Zager smiles. Don't worry, I may have already solved that problem. This causes Pierce to look at the doctor with irritation, as Zager seems like he has been intentionally withholding this information. The scientist states that it's nothing like that. He just had to be sure. But it happened last night with our other guest. The Ultra Beast that had taken control of the man once again tried to open another Ultra wormhole. It was almost successful too, but my defenses were quick to shut it down, preventing any escape on its part. Get to the point, old man. I don't have all day, Pierce says, now growing tired of all of the stalling. With the flinch, Zager says the readings match two different things. The first is the crystals that we have, and the other one is the one that we've been tracking. So we can indeed confirm that they all have been in some way exposed to ultra space. And the other, Pierce demands? Well, that's what I found most interesting. The aura given off by the crystals matched the same energy that I was tracking on the day that Giovanni had opened up the portal in Equitique City. However, it wasn't the portal that was giving off these readings. It was the boy that Giovanni was battling. He used a Z move. That's what caused the readings to spike. The readings were nearly identical to what I recorded last night. Looking down at the stones, Pierce contemplates what this means, but then the alarms in the lab go off. Zager states that the crystal is activating its power again. However, it doesn't have the energy to fully open a portal. It's unstable and it will fail. Just then, the alarms subside. Quickly, track its movement, Pierce yells. Already ahead of the process, the doctor locks on the energy signal for as long as he can, until it vanishes. Well, it looks like we are going to have to wait once more. There wasn't enough energy used for us to stay locked onto it. However, Pierce notices something. He then pulls out a world map that shows off all of the track sightings that have happened since the incident in Farina. Smiling, Pierce tells Zager to contact Rose. It seems that the mission that he was assigned is going to have to wait. He knows where the crystal is heading. The mercenary then grabs everything that he will need, including the crystals that they have, as he radios for a transport. Quick, prep a plane. chain. We are heading to Alola. This is when Zager looks up at the map, only to put it all together. The missing piece that they need to open the bridge. It has slowly been moving across the planet, like it's being drawn to the island chain. Well, it seems that I will get the light that I need after all, the doctor says, as down the hall, the tormented cries of Giovanni go unanswered. This leads us back to the present time. Ash and Go are stepping off the boat as they finally arrive on Mele Mele Island. Taking his first official steps onto the island chain, Go can feel that something feels different, even saying so to Ash. Smiling, our hero responds that it's Alola. The region has something special about it, the people and the customs, but more importantly, the light that shines across it. The aura that everyone shares is one. Interesting, Go thinks. He then asks Ash if he has given any thought to where they are going to start looking for the box of Melmetal. Shrugging, Ash states that he hasn't the faintest clue, but he thinks the first thing that they should do is head to Professor Kukui's and Burnett's house. They were like his second family when he was here in Alola, and he really wants to see them. Sure, Go says. Maybe it will give us a chance to figure out where we should start the task that Professor East assigned to us. Smiling, Ash takes off running, telling Go that he needs to hurry up or he'll be left behind. Hey, wait up, Go yells before taking off at full speed, trying to keep sight of both Ash and Pikachu. However, it doesn't take long for them to get to the destination. Ash has taken them off of the beaten path onto a beach, which Go finds very odd, but Ash tells him that Kukui's lab and house is on a beach not far from here, which Go can see not too far ahead. However, the two are going to be met with something that Go sees as his immediate threat as two Pokemon come barreling across the beach. However, Ash doesn't seem to be too worried about this, calling to both of them. Incineroar, Lycanroc, it's so good to see you guys again. Suddenly, Go remembers the two from the travels that he and Ash had over the past few months. He never really thought about it until now, but there were some Pokemon that Ash didn't leave at the lab in Pallet Town? Go questions this as Ash is playing with his two Pokemon, causing them to stop. You see, they bonded so well with Kukui and Burnett when I was here that I decided to leave them in Alola so that way they can help the professor. So what do you say, guys? Have you been helping Kukui with his research? Ash questions. Then a voice rings out from the house. They sure have. Turning, Ash sees Kukui standing in the doorway with a huge smile. This immediately causes the boy to become briefly emotional as he runs to the professor to give him the biggest hug he possibly can. This stuns Kukui for a moment as he wraps his arms around the man and says, "I'm sorry it took me so long to come back home." Kukui can do nothing but smile as he places a hand on the boy's head. "I'm glad that you're back too. I hope you've been well." This whole interaction stops Go. Man, Ash really wasn't kidding when he said that this place was like a second home, he thinks. But Go's silence is going to be broken when his eyes meet with Kukui's. "Who's your friend?" This causes our hero to stand up and wipe what appears to be tears from his eyes before introducing Go. The boy greets the professor, saying that he's sorry that he stopped by unannounced. However, Kukui says that it isn't a problem. They are always welcome here. Just think of this place like your second home. Go is a bit taken aback by this. They just barely met, and Kukui is treating the boy like family. Man, I wish my parents were like that, he thinks. However, this is when Ash asks where Professor Burnett is. He would really like to see her too. Oh, she's not here right now, but she'll be back later. And boy, will she have a big surprise for you. Surprise, Ash thinks? Didn't she know I was coming, he asks? With a chuckle, Kukui says no. Things have been very busy, and a lot has changed since you left, Ash, but it's all been for the better, I can assure you. This causes Ash to smile. He can't wait to see his second mom. But this is interrupted when Kukui asks what exactly brought them back to Alola. He wasn't going to be needed for another couple of weeks, and he thought that Ash was participating in the World Tournament. "Well, I am, Professor, but actually the reason I came back is because of Melmetal." "Really? Is everything okay?" Kukui asks. "Well, yeah, everything's fine," Ash says, "but we've learned a lot more about where Melmetal comes from." Ash and Go then explain everything that they have learned on their travels in other regions, and how they are looking for a box that Melmetal came in, so they were wondering if Kukui had seen anything like that box. However, the professor says that this is the first time he's hearing of anything like that. Do they know what the box is supposed to look like? Ash pulls out a picture of it on his Rotom phone. Looking over it, Kukui says that it doesn't look familiar, but they can ask around. Maybe somebody has seen it, but the professor asks if Ash has Melmetal with him. The boy says yeah, and a lot of other Pokemon too. It's here that the boy looks at Go, stating that they should let them all out so everyone can play. With a nod, they both throw their Pokeballs, releasing everyone at once. This excites both Lycanroc and Incineroar, as they were hoping that Ash would bring somebody new for them to have a high-stakes battle with. Instantly, the two Alolan champion Pokemon lock eyes with two of Ash's newest team. Lycanroc begins to sniff out Lucario, while Incineroar has its sights set on Gengar. While the Ghost is more than happy to indulge the Fire Cat, Lucario is still the same stoic mon that it has become in recent weeks. However, there is something that seems to have its attention. Lucario can feel the energy of the region. This has caused it to completely ignore Lycanroc as it uses its aura ability to take in all the magnificence of this land. The mon has never felt a place like this before outside of the Tree of Beginning. Every living thing across the island chain is bonded by this aura of light that is invisible to the naked eye. It's soothing. Then a strange calm washes over Lucario that Ash begins to notice. Seeing that it is finally relaxed, Ash approaches the mon and places a hand on his shoulder. "That feeling you have is the power of this place, Lucario. It can heal you in ways you didn't even know that you needed it. However, just as the boy finishes that statement, a swell of aura engulfs the two, blinding everyone. From Ash and Lucario's perspective, they're seeing some sort of events play out. Ultra wormholes opening across the region, and Giratina. Wait, is that Alola? Ash questions. But why would Giratina be here? Then he sees it. The dragon is trying to stop a falling meteor. The ruler of the reverse used its powers on an ultra wormhole, and it opened a portal wide enough to swallow the space rock. However, the opening isn't that big, and pieces are starting to break off and fall to the islands below as the portal begins to close around it. Ash is watching this from above as everything unfolds. As the portal closes, he can see that Giratina seems to be happy with the results and opens another portal, then vanishes into it. However, this event had not gone unnoticed. Ash continues to watch as the inhabitants of the island begin to rush to the places that the rocks had fallen. One of them looks very familiar to the boy. Is that the canyon on Pony Island? Wait, where is the altar of the sun? The boy asks, as Lucario is just as confused as Ash, but the fighting type tells the boy to be quiet. It notices something is happening. Time has begun to move. In Pony Canyon, the rock that glowed with the heat of the sun is worshipped as a deity. Ash watches as what the boy knows as the altar of the sun is slowly built over many of years around the rock. This is a massive passage of time that is sped up to only be seconds for our hero. But then a strange event happens. A solar eclipse darkens the sky. The only light in the region is the rock. It shines so bright that it appears as if it was day brought to the land of the people of Alola. Then Ash can see it. What looks like a familiar Pokemon emerges from the rock. Wait, is that a Cosmog? But before Ash can fully see what it is, a light blinds the boy. Then another outline appears. Wait, what is that? Ash says. But then he feels someone tugging on him. Then he begins to hear someone calling his name. At first, it's a faint echo, but it soon gets louder and Ash recognizes it as Kukui. Then before he knows it, the light fades and Ash is standing on the beach with his hand on Lucario. The two look at each other, almost to confirm if what they both saw was the same thing, but Ash can see by the expression on Lucario's face that it was. Hey Ash, you okay? This triggers the boy to finally acknowledge both Kukui and Go, as they have both been calling to him for well over a minute with no response. Yeah, I guess so, Ash says. Are you sure? Go questions. You seem to be in a trance with Lucario, but Ash simply shakes it off, explaining that he and Lucario saw something, but what? He doesn't know. It might have been Alola's past. This comment gets Kukui concerned, but the professor says nothing, choosing to deflect the current issues with a statement. You know, Hala is having a grandchild today. Maybe we should go check it out, as it will play a huge part in the upcoming Alola League. This statement grabs Ash's attention as he questions Kukui on what he means by that. Well, Ash, you are the champion, but that doesn't mean we won't give others the chance to compete in the league. What, so you haven't found another champion, the boy says? With a chuckle, Kukui asks whatever would give Ash that idea, to which the boy explains the thoughts that had been running through his head while he was on the boat. Kukui tells Ash that they wouldn't just replace him because he left the region, they would at least call him so that way he knew that there was a league coming up. Hanging his head, Ash apologizes. He was away for so long, and when he called, you guys didn't pick up. So I thought you had forgotten about me. Kukui can see that the boy is distressed about this, so in a moment of embrace, he pulls Ash in. Don't worry, we could never do anything like that. This causes the boy to tear up a bit, but Kukui has the remedy, telling the boy that they should go see Hala. The grand trial is happening now. This is where Go chimes in and asking what a grand trial is. How about we head to the island Kahuna's house, and I'll explain on the way. Go looks intrigued by this, but then they have something that needs to be addressed before leaving, as all the other Pokemon are playing so hard that they roll over the trio as they lose their bearings. This causes Ash's backpack to come loose as they try to figure out what is going on. This triggers the final of Ash's Mons that had remained in Alola with the rest of his team, Rowlet, to wake up from the noise, only to see the bag laying on the ground. Seeing an opportunity for a secluded place to take a nap, Rowlet flies in without anyone knowing. Picking up the bag, Ash asks Go if he's alright. The boy nods, though he mentions that it seemed everyone is having too much fun. Kukui agrees, stating that they won't be long, so they can leave the others here to play while they go to Hala's. While most are okay with this, there are a few that don't like the idea of leaving Ash and Go's side, that being Lucario, Pikachu, and Raboot. The others all have seemed to find a place on the beach that they would either rather play or just hang out, especially Dracovish, as it is loving the water that it seems to remind it of the ancient times and the open oceans where it used to hunt in. Since the team is split, Ash tells the others that they will be back soon, so not to get in any trouble. The trio then head to Kukui's jeep and climb in. The professor tells them to hold on, as they are going to have to move fast if they want to catch the last bit of the battle with Hala. So, with his pedal to the metal, the trio take off as Go takes one last look at all of his Pokemon, only for them to fade out of sight. Man, I hope they'll be okay, the boy thinks as they speed down the road. However, this is going to be the last thing that they have to worry about, as there is another problem that's about to emerge its head. This is when we move over to the Cave of Beware. Pierce has made himself at home as the former Rocket trio do their best to keep a close eye on him. While he is aware that they are watching him and his presence is less than welcome, Pierce really doesn't care. He just needs the equipment that was left in the cave by Team Rocket, so that way he could set up his tracking system, as it is directly linked to all of the Rocket satellites that are still in orbit above the planets. You know, I don't work for Team Rocket anymore, the man says as he looks at the screen. However, the three three are not really interested in a conversation, with Jess being the only one to speak up, asking when he will be leaving. With a smirk, Pierce says he will be gone soon. He's just tracking something that is vital to his current employer's plans. Employer? Is that what you call people you work for now? Meowth quips. Well, I guess there isn't really any loyalty left in the world nowadays. This causes the man to laugh as he adjusts the calibration on the tracking. You three are one to talk. Look at you, abandoning Team Rocket and Giovanni the first chance you got. You have some nerve, James yells. That man used and abused us for years. In the end, we tried our best to give him what he needed, and he still just threw us away like trash. Yeah, I'm glad that he died when that tower collapsed, Jesse says. The world is a much better place without him. This causes Pierce to laugh. You think Giovanni is dead? Someone like him? I can assure you that couldn't be farther from the truth. This causes the trio to go silent, as they can't believe what they just heard. And how would you know? The Scratch Cat questions. Well, because I'm the one who saved him, Pierce says with a chuckle. This causes the three to begin a flurry of angry questions, but just as that happens, the computer starts going off, signaling that something has been found. Smiling, Pierce tells them that he's so sorry, but they're gonna have to figure out the rest without him. The reason that he came to the region is now on its way, and he would hate to keep it waiting. He then exits the cave and takes off with a jetpack before Jesse and James can do anything to detain him. The two are frustrated about their inability to stop the man before they could get any of their questions answered. However, their bickering is interrupted by Meowth as he says that they need to come look at this. Jesse tells the cat it's going to pay if this isn't important. They were figuring out on how they were going to deal with Pierce. However, the normal type says that while he has all the confidence in the world that they would eventually achieve that goal, it thinks that this will be a much faster way to do so. Pointing to the screen, Meowth says that he knows where Pierce is going. Looking up, they see two dots on the screen. One of them is Pierce, and the other is something moving very fast, but that's not what has Meowth's interest, as the course that they have plotted for both of the targets puts them landing on Pony Island, specifically the altar of the sun. Smiling, Jesse tells them that they have 5 minutes to get ready. They're going to stop by and pay Pierce a visit and get their questions answered, even if they have to pull them out of the man one letter at a time. Jesse then asks Meowth if they still have the jetpacks that were left here for when Mentori was here. The Scratch Cat says they do, but they haven't been maintained, so their ability to fly will be questionable at best. However, Jesse doesn't care. They will catch up and make that pretty boy talk at any cost. So, as those three scramble to intercept their target, we switch over to Ash and Go. They have arrived in Nikki Town with Kukui. During the ride over, Kukui explained the grand trial to Go and the significance of the island challenge. During this time, Kukui divulged that they are going to be having another Pokemon League in a few weeks, and they have a lot of challengers. Some people that Ash has already known, and a lot of new ones that have come from other regions. But they all have one thing in common. Because we had many people coming to challenge the new league, the Kahunas and I decided to make it mandatory for the island challenge to be something that has to be taken in order to qualify. This catches Ash's attention, as if he remembers correctly, it was an open challenge the last time that they had the league. Kukui confirms this, stating that he wants Alola to be the best that it can be. So think of the island challenge as if battling the gyms of other regions. If they can pass the grand trials, then they get permission from the Kahunas to challenge the league. This whole thing sounds fascinating to Go, as Alola is a complete 180 in culture from the rest of the world, while on the other hand, Ash and Pikachu are excited at the possibility of strong battles. However, Lucario and Raboot seem to not really care either way. One is just along for the ride, seemingly to keep an eye on its trainer, while the other one is looking out from the car as if something has its attention, but this is coming to a screeching halt as they arrive at the main battle area for the grand trial. Luckily, it seems that they have arrived at the best time, as the climax of the battle is about to take place. However, this is when things are going to take an interesting turn. There stands Hala as the old man prepares to use his Z move with his partner Hariyama. Across from him is a person that Ash has only ever seen once when he was battling the champion of the Hoenn region, the victor of the most recent Evergrande City tournament, Rento, and the Pokemon that nearly won him the regional title, his Mega Gallade. This whole experience has captured the attention of everyone, but for different reasons. Ash and Pikachu because they really want a chance to battle Rento, Go because he wants to see a Z move, and Kukui because he is fascinated that there is a Mega Evolution before him that he has never seen before, and Lucario has its eyes locked on the aura of the two combatants. The one from Hariyama is fascinating, as it seems that the fighting type is using the power of Hala to summon a strong move, but it's Gallade that has its full attention, as it can see the aura flowing between the trainer and the Pokemon. It's like their bond unlocked a new level of power. Lucario can't explain it, but this transformation seems to be calling out to it through the aura. However, things haven't reached their climax just yet, as Hala unleashes the power of Mela Mela Island on Mega Gallade in full force. Hariyama puts everything it has into this attack, but Gallade refuses to give in. The Mega tanks the move, smoldering from the power that was behind it. However, Hariyama has expended all of its energy, and while it's smoldering, Mega Gallade is still able to move, demonstrating its mega powers with a Psycho Cut that drops Hala's ace and brings the battle to an end. Now with his heart thumping away in his chest, Ash can't help but to rush to the battle area to check out Mega Gallade. The boy has so many questions for Rento, like how long has he been in Alola, and if he plans on challenging the league. Can he and Rento have a battle right now? The questioning is so intense that Rento doesn't even have time to respond. It only ends when Hala demands demands that Ash tone it down with a firm but happy voice. The kahuna then presents Rento with the Fightium Z and declares that he has passed the grand trial of Melee Island. The boy thanks Hala, stating that he accepts the kahuna's endorsement. This is when Rento raises his arm and moves back his sleeve to reveal that not only does he have a Mega Evolution bracelet, but a Z-ring. Wait, where did you get that, Ash questions? Oh, this? It was given to me by the one you call Tapu Lele. This triggers another line of questioning from Ash, but as the boy can't really control himself, Go questions Kukui on what Rento meant by Island Guardian. The professor explains all about the Guardians and their role in the region. They tend to stay close to a select few humans and are very powerful. The Island Guardian of Melee Island is the one that gave Ash his Z-ring. As Kukui explains this, Go is beginning to see just how tied to the Alola region that Ash really is. It's no wonder that the boy is its champion. It's like the region itself chose him to be it. As the conversation carries on, Lucario has broken its interest in Gallade for the time being, as it has begun to sense something approaching the island. This causes it to flare up in aura as it summons an aura sphere like it's going to attack. This is going to be meaningless as whatever it is sensing blows by Melee Island so fast that a sonic boom hits, knocking everyone over. This force is enough to rattle the whole island. Standing back up, everyone questions what that was. However, things come to a head as Lucario has everyone's attention again. It's signaling to Ash they have to follow. The boy is trying to understand Lucario, but after having his head rattled by the shockwave, his ability to do that has been temporarily shaken. Now frustrated, Lucario decides to take things into his own paws, taking off away from Iki Town at lightning speed. This forces Ash and Go to both give chase. Realizing that something is up, Kukui tells Hala that they will be back later. This seems like it is something that could be dangerous, so he should warn the other kahunas just in case. The professor then takes off after Ash and Go, leaving the kahuna and Rento there to process what had just happened. All the while, a very familiar Island Guardian watches from the shadow. As they try to get things settled, we move over to Vast Pony Canyon and the site of the Altar of the Sun. It is sunset, and it's here that we see Pierce standing on the shrine that is at the center of the altar. Come on, I know you're around here somewhere, he thinks. However, his patience are going to be rewarded as the same sonic boom that Ash had just experienced comes his way. But what caused it comes into full view. Above the altar levitates a Pokemon that we haven't seen since Hoenn. It's been a while, Deoxys. Tell me, have you come to claim the other parts of the crystal? The virus looks down at Pierce, seemingly having full knowledge of who he is. That's when it notices that all of the crystal pieces that had been taken from the lab in Galar are arranged in a certain spots across the altar. This enrages Deoxys as it begins to flare with psychic aura. As a response, the crystals around Pierce begin to react to this, radiating their respective rainbow colors. That's it. Attack me with everything that you have, the man demands, which the virus is more than happy to do so as it fires a blast at him. However, this isn't going to have the effect that Deoxys wanted, as the energy is absorbed by the altar that Pierce stands on. Angered that it is unable to do away with this pathetic human that has been hunting it, Deoxys tries again and again, but each time the attack fails until it can no longer maintain flight. That's good, Pierce says. Don't fight it, just go to sleep. It will be all over soon, and you will become one with the others. Slowly we watch as Deoxys descends to the ground and reverts back to its crystal form, landing at the feet of Pierce. With a smile, he picks it up and the rest of the crystals. Finally, my ticket to ultra space and the ultimate power source. However, his brief celebration is going to be interrupted when Jessie, James, and Meowth come crashing in as their jetpacks have finally failed and they are forced to make an emergency landing. Wow, you three really have nothing better to do but get in my way. Well, no matter, that won't be possible much longer. However, Jessie won't take this disrespect as she sees it, demanding that Pierce tell her where Giovanni is, or they will force it out of him. With a laugh, Pierce says that he would love to see them try, before he turns to the altar of the sun and it begins to react to the crystals that he carries. Suddenly, the sundial at the top opens and blasts the ground in front of him. Jessie, James, and Meowth can do nothing but watch as Pierce turns and says, "It's a good thing I stopped by the Aether Paradise before I came here to see you three." He then jumps into the ultra wormhole, leaving the three unsure on what they should do next. As this is unfolding, we move back over to Lucario, as it has come to a stop on a cliffside. The fighting type looks out angrily over the water in the direction of Pony Island. Whatever is happening over there, Lucario knows that it needs to be there, but it is interrupted by Ash demanding to know what is going on. The frustration of Lucario finally breaks through to Ash as the boy hears the echo. Feel it, the aura of the region. It has been interrupted. Unsure of what this means, Ash focuses. While he doesn't really know how to use aura, the boy can feel something is off. This is when Go and Kukui are finally able to catch up. Ash, is everything okay? The professor asks. The boy points to Pony Island and prepares to say something, but before he can get anything out, Tapu Koko emerges out of nowhere, only to gather Ash, Lucario, and Pikachu up in a maelstrom of confusion before vanishing as quickly as it came. Then, almost a signal that things have gone from bad to worse, Kukui's phone rings, only for it to be his wife. Burnett tells the professor that they have a huge problem. Tell me about it. Ash was just kidnapped by Tapu Koko. Wait, Ash? Tapu Koko? Burnett says, confused before focusing on the reason that she called. She states that the Altar of the Sun has been activated. Whatever it was is something that we never tracked before, so she is sending a transport transport over as Kukui needs to get over there ASAP. I understand, he says before hanging up the phone. So kid, have you ever been to Ultra Space? He asks Go, leaving the boy to look puzzled and concerned. As Alola seems to be falling apart at the seams, we move back over to the island of Altomare. It's here that we find Latios in another argument with Latias. However, it's going to be cut short when they feel the same thing. The life force of Ash has suddenly vanished. This causes them both to stop for a moment. However, Latios doesn't like the fact that the boy can no longer be detected. Turning, the blue jet takes off from the sanctuary that they call home. However, Latias stops it. While this is Ash they are talking about, Latias tells Latios that if it leaves, then not to come back. She can no longer ignore its disregard for the safety of their family. The Eon Pokemon looks at everyone, then without a second thought, it blasts off from the island, pushing through the barriers that Latias has erected with its sights set on the last place that Ash had been detected. And this is where we are going to leave things for now. So tell me, how did you feel about this part? What did you think about the return of Ash to the Alola region? How will Rento and his Mega Gallade influence the upcoming Alola League? Why is Pierce in the region? And what are all the crystals that he has? And how is Deoxys tied to them in Ultra Space? Where did Tapu Koko take Ash? And what role will Latios play in this as we prepare to head into Ultra Space? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.